Hey, Paul here, AEM. We are going to be doing video instructions on the Ford F-150 4.6. We're going to take you guys step by step showing you how to install the brute force system. First, we're going to baseline the truck, see what stock power makes. Then we're going to take you guys step by step, show you how to put the kit on. And then we're going to dyno the truck, showing it making power. So we just got done dynoing the truck stock, and it made 184 horsepower and 216 foot-pounds of torque. Now I'm going to show you guys what tools to use.
13mm wrench, 7/16 wrench, 1/4 inch ratchet with a 1/4 inch extension, 8mm socket, 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 extension with a 7/16 socket, flathead screwdriver, pair of dikes to cut the zip tie and the rubber edge trim, a T20 Torx that's provided in the kit, a drill to drill the hole for the heat shield, a tape measure to measure the neoprene patch.
We're going to be following these provided instructions. First thing we're going to do is you're going to want to park your vehicle on a level surface, set your parking brake, then you're going to want to let your vehicle cool down for about 2 hours so it's not too hot. Then we're going to disconnect the negative battery, and while we're removing the vehicle's stock components, we want to make sure that you don't throw away any of the stock parts. Disconnect the negative terminal on your battery with the 8mm. Now we're going to start by removing the stock system. Disconnect the crankcase breather tube. Now we're going to take off both hose clamps, one off the throttle body, and then one connected to the filter. Now we're going to remove the upper inlet tube. We're going to pull off the filter housing, the part that's connected to the mass airflow sensor. Just gently take this out. Just grab your flat screwdriver, pop it in here. Just gently pop that up. There's a little red clip. Pop that up, and then it comes right out. So this was the tricky part. Inside the MAF housing is the plug, and it's this little red clip. You need to get in there and pull it up, and the MAF will come right off. Now we remove the screws and the mass airflow sensor. We use the Torx provided in the kit. Be very careful with the mass airflow sensor. It's fragile and it's expensive if you break it, so just put it in a safe place until you need it. Now we remove the stock airbox. Just lift up. It's mounted in these rubber grommets, and then you just pull it out. Now we're going to take these rubber grommets out. So we've completely removed the stock intake system. Now we're going to start installing the brute force intake. So in the kit we have these special spacers. Basically they sit like this in the truck, and then you're going to put this through. This will sandwich in between the body of the truck, allowing you to use the stock mount points for the intake. Now we're going to install the mount spacers. Put this one under. So now you take your 7/16 wrench along with a ratchet. You want to tighten this up. Do the same thing for the other side.
Now set the heat shield in place. To mark and drill the hole for the heat shield.
Now we mount the heat shield. This part's a little tight, but you just get your hand under there. So you can hold the bottom bolt, the same for the other side.
Install the self-tapping screw.
Now we're going to install the provided rubber edge trim. Trim it to size. You can use some scissors, razor blade.
Now install the rubber edge trim along the top of your heat shield. What this does is keep the heat out of the area where the filter sits. It seals between the hood and the top of the heat shield.
Next, we install the neoprene patch. We just leave a 1-inch gap in between the neoprene patch and the end of the intake pipe. Now we install the mass airflow sensor. Now we set the coupler on the throttle body. We'll leave everything loose until the end of the install. We'll go through and tighten everything.
Next, we remove the bolt next to the power steering reservoir.
What we're going to do is use this as a mounting point for our intake. Now we're going to install the pipe. Basically put it in the coupler.
The lower mount is down here on the engine.
Put that in. Now we take the 8mm, put it out in here. This kit comes with an air horn. We're now going to install it in the 6x9 dry flow AEM filter. I'm going to take the coupler, put it on the air horn. Now we're going to put it in the car. Now that everything's in, you can plug in your mass airflow sensor, crankcase breather hose, and tighten everything up. We're just going to align everything, make sure everything fits right without hitting. It's nice and center. Started with the filter, made sure all the couplers are tight. Tighten the coupler over here. Now I'm going to tighten all the brackets.
Let's use a zip tie on the upper mount to keep the mass airflow sensor harness from hitting anything.
Take your 13 mil box wrench. Now you tighten the lower bracket on the head. Last step is to now reconnect your negative terminal on your battery. Okay, we're done. As you can see, kit fits really nicely. Just overlook everything and making sure that everything's tight. Mass airflow sensor's plugged in, crankcase plugged in also, and overlook to make sure you didn't leave any tools in. Now you can get in, go for a ride. We just got done installing the brute force intake. Now we're going to show you guys how much power this thing makes. So what we did here is we pulled up the stock run up against our intake. You can see that it's clearly a little over 10 horsepower and about 13 foot-pounds of torque. There you have it. It was about a 45-minute install. Kit fits nice. Actually makes a pretty good amount of power for a quick bolt-on. If you guys have any questions, you can call our tech support or shoot us an email.